Hi, everybody. I have a surprise for you this week. I have my friend Shirley on the podcast with me. She's my friend and a coach. We actually coach each other every week for a while now. And I'm so excited because I have this one thought for you all. I feel like it's like a little Christmas present or like a present for the new year that I want everyone to remember because it will just change everyone's lives. So let me introduce Shirley, and then I will let her introduce herself, and then we'll dive into the topic, okay? So I love Shirley so much because when she coaches me, actually, before I do that, let me tell you that it's very, very exciting. She's hosting a workshop this week. So today's the 19th, and she's hosting it on Thursday, the 22nd of December. You guys have to come and sign up because she will teach you how to use the power of one in your personal life, in your business, in anything to really succeed. So go sign up. You can find her on Instagram. The hashtag, well, not the hashtag, she's at Daring Living. And she also has her own podcast, Daring Living. So you can find her there, and I'll also put all the details in my show notes. Okay, so you can find her there. So now let me tell you why I love her so much. So Shirley, when she coaches me and I come to her and I'm stuck on something, I just know that she will tell me something that makes me feel so good, and that I don't have to do anything to make myself better or do anything to make anything better. And that thought is like, you don't have to do something, is what I want to talk to you all about today. And Shirley already knows about it, so she has some examples ready. So she just makes me feel good, like as I am, in my business or anything, without having to do anything extra. So now that I introduced the topic, okay, and I'm gonna let Shirley introduce herself. Go ahead.
Thank you, Natalia. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here and to talk to you and to meet you all today. My name is Shirley, and I'm a life and success coach for multi-passionate and ambitious entrepreneurs. So I tend to work with people, mostly women, who tend to be doing like a lot of things all at once. So they're like action takers. Maybe they're very involved with their family. Maybe they also have a full-time job, and they also have a side hustle on the side. Maybe they also have other projects or personal goals and clubs that they're running. I don't know, like all over the place. And so we definitely talk a lot about like time management and like managing your energy. And I think sometimes it's so much more than that, because I especially love the topic that I'm talking with Natalia today, which is about how to, especially when you are someone who is multi-passionate, who have a lot of things going on at once, how to be able to really identify the difference between what you actually want to be doing or what you think you should be doing. Because I think that's what a lot of the times is what I know, Natalia, a lot of your the people in your audience are mothers, right? It's like a lot of the moms, we tell ourselves about what we think we should be doing. And so that really creates so much drama and so much unnecessary suffering just for us in our own human experience. So I'll give you kind of like a little brief background about who I am. I think as like an Asian woman growing up, I've been conditioned a lot by just like maybe from my culture, from my family, and also just the marketing message I receive about women in general in the society is that like, and a lot of you can probably relate to this as well, is that I tend to people please. So I grew up just like wanting to people please all the time. You know, I was told that I should follow rules, keep my head down, keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, don't question anything. And so that has not led me to a good place after years and decades of doing that. And I thought that there was something wrong with me, right? I thought that, oh, isn't this how I'm supposed to live my life? You know, just to make sure everyone around me is happy and always like follow the rules, do the things of like what I was told to do. And actually this has led me down like a dark path of just like more severe anxiety, depression, thinking I'm always not good enough, not worthy enough, really not knowing what it is that I actually want, because I always look to like put other people's needs above my own, right? Putting my family's needs above my own, putting my friends' needs above my own, my clients' needs above my own. So just all the things except for myself. And I think as mothers, I'm pretty sure a lot of you also put your kids' needs above your own. And it just feels so natural. You're just like, wait, what? Like, isn't that how I'm supposed to do it?
Yeah.
Right. And then as a result of that, then we start to lose ourselves. And then we don't really know what it is that we actually want anymore. We start to follow the rules without questioning them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think just me now becoming a life coach and having my own business, I've really just, this has really over the past 2 or 3 years has really led me down the path of like really discovering and exploring something that is in me that is so much bigger than the rules, right? Like I grew up in a blue collar family. People expect me to just get a stable and safe job. And I went out to become an online entrepreneur. And I went out to become a life coach who no one in my family knows what that is about. And then I believed that I could, like own my own home before the age of 25, and then be able to work and travel and have flexibility in my own schedule, be able to, I'm on my way to making 6 figures and beyond. These are things that I have never dared to question or to even think that was possible. But I think it's because of this single topic that we're going to really dive deep into today, really talk about like you seeing you are so much bigger than your rules, and seeing that there's actually so many things that you don't have to do. And you're not, it's not that you should, like all the shoulds is just conditioned thoughts and beliefs that you have in your head. Right? When I really learned just in my own personal experience to let go of all the shoulds, all the haves, that's when I opened up myself to so much more possibility and really see, okay, what really is it that I want to do? What really is it that I want to pursue? And now that I have done it, I'm still in the process of doing it. I still have a lot of shoulds in my head all the time. But then now I'm seeing such a bigger picture, and now I also help other like multi-passionate women to be able to break free and do the same. So yeah, that's kind of a little backstory about me. Did that answer your question?
I love it. And it makes so much sense because you've done that work on yourself, on not believing all the shoulds and all I have tos. Then when you coach me, it's so easy for you to see that this is nonsense that I'm believing, right? Mm-hmm. So when you coach me, you just like so calmly say, you don't have to do that. And for me, it's like, what, really? It just feels like so good. And you're like, there's no judgment. And you can tell that you believe it. And you truly believe that I really don't have to promote my business to help people, that the podcast is enough, right? And so on, right? So that feels so, so loving. And so I think if we learn to do that with ourselves, that will feel really loving to ourselves, right? Yeah. And talk about you being a life coach, like that's really breaking a woman and like being in an Asian culture role, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think like this is what I have come to realize just in my own personal experience, and just through all the experiences I've had coaching a lot of other women as well, is that we all have this internal compass within us of what actually works for you, like the things that you actually want to do, what actually feels right for you. But then oftentimes we just like, a lot of the times it's like subconsciously, we don't even really notice that we're doing this, just because of how we were raised and the kind of messaging and the society, the beliefs that were being put on us growing up, is that we tend to have this tendency to want to do things in the quote unquote the right way, or doing it perfect, or doing it in a way where we are following the rules, right? Whatever the rules look like the rules of how you're supposed to be a mom, the rules of how you're supposed to run a family, the rules of how you're supposed to build your business, right? There's a right rule to building your business, how you're supposed to, go forward in your career. There's like all of these rules that we invisibly put upon ourselves. And then we tend to follow that, like follow those rules, like we think we should, right? Follow those rules, do it in the right way, do it in a way where actually it's like we don't really trigger anyone, we don't make anyone not happy,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes our own internal compass can feel quote unquote wrong.
Mhm.
It can feel like almost like it's gonna make other people around us unhappy. It's not gonna be the right way of doing things if
Right.
it's like being seen by the society. And we do this because we are scared that if we don't follow the rules, then we're going to be punished.
Mhm.
Like something bad is going to happen to us. We're going to be outcasted from our group. Our partner is not gonna like us. Our family is gonna abandon us. Like all of these worst case scenarios that we start thinking about. So that is why over time, we kind of like quiet down this internal compass and we look to validation and all the ideas and opinions outside of instead, right? And then slowly over time, it's like we think our partner's needs are so much more important than us. Our partner's opinions are so much more important. We think our kids, right, and what they think and their needs are so much more important. We think our mother-in-law, like our parents, and then like their thoughts are so much more important than ours. So then we lose this internal compass. And then I think it's more about like, it really is about like getting back our internal compass and really seeing, this is actually what you want. There's a lot of background noise and drama that happens, but this is actually what you want. And from my experience just coaching with people and with my own personal experience, and I'm pretty sure Natalia can relate with this as well, is that when you actually when you actually follow your internal compass, like that is actually the right way for you. It might not be the right way for other people, but it is the right way for you. And then when you follow the right way, it is always right for you. Like it always creates a positive outcome for you, like a win-win solution for you and for the people around you.
So true, but it's so scary though, right? Because
Yes.
if we follow the society rules, then at least after we can say, well, we did the right thing and it didn't work. It was kind of like, it's not my fault. But if you do it your way and you're like, oh shit, right? And then it doesn't go well, the only person you blame is yourself. So that's also scary.
Yeah. Like now you are responsible for the outcomes that you created for yourself. Before it could be like, oh, because my partner said to do this, so I did this.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So for me though, as I think of like all the changes I've done in my life, really every single one of them, I had to say to myself, okay, I don't have to do this anymore. And only then, after I truly believed it, only then afterwards I could access, okay, what do I want? Or I could access like, I want this, right? Before that, it was so shut down by the pressure. Like I have to drink alcohol, otherwise there's something wrong with me if I don't want to drink alcohol, right? I was like, no, I don't have to. I wish someone told me years ago. And then I said, oh, I don't want to, right? And then there's so many things. Like I recently coached a woman who, like, I think we all actually are conditioned to, we have to have sex with our husband, right? And that thing just shuts down what you want when you believe it, right? Because you don't even have a chance to access that. And so that same thing, right? Take off that should, and then allow yourself to never have sex with him again. And then be like, no, I kind of want to, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like taking back that personal power. It's like, okay, first, maybe to really see and really let go of the fact that you have to and that you should. And then from this more clean and neutral place, decide intention, actually, I do want to have sex.
yeah.
Right? Or actually, maybe not tonight, but maybe next week when I feel better, when I'm more energized, then I do want to. And when I have that desire again, then I do want to. But it's like you decide yourself, not because you're being forced into it, because I think that energy, it just feels yucky and you feel like you don't have a control, you feel powerless. And then I think when you feel like you're being forced into doing something, that always does not create the experience that you actually want for yourself. Yeah. And and like what you were saying earlier about how like if you make a decision and then you end up having to take responsibility for it, something that just came to me that I would say for that is sometimes it could be true. Like you really make a decision from a place where you are owning it, but then the outcome is not what you wanted. And then in that case, you can't blame other people. But what I would also say is that just from my own experience coaching so many people is that even though it felt right for you and then you did it, but then the outcome, maybe in the moment, it's not what you actually want, it actually helped you pave the way, because through that outcome, you actually learn so much. You experience the pain of it. So now you learn so much from it. It's almost like you're transformed from it. And then coming out, you will be able to receive what's next. And you will be able to become someone who can actually have your own back and do it, and like even own your mistakes, right? Own your own failures. And I think that is like an even greater, like a greater transformation for you, to become someone who owns your failures because you made the decision and you own it.
Yeah. Well, I just went through that in my business, right? You know, with my offer. Yeah. So I followed the rules for years. And then I finally said, okay, this makes no sense. I'm going to do what I want. I did what I want. And right after, I'm like, oh my God, this was not at all what I wanted. And now I know exactly what I want. I'm going to do this way. I'm like, finally, I actually understand why I was doing it the other way. So, yeah, but I only could learn it by doing it my way, which kind of turned out a mistake, but not really. Yeah.
Like you had to do it to know.
Yeah.
To make that decision. Doesn't it feel good to own your mistakes? You're like, I did this, but I made the decision. I failed. It's not actually what I wanted, but I learned so much from it.
Yeah, I actually feel more confident saying that. Like, yes, totally messed up. Yeah. Because then you're not afraid to mess up. Yeah,
you're like, I didn't die. I did this. I didn't die. And I learned to trust myself so much more through this process.
Yeah. So the other thing I also want to mention is that we have to, I think, remember the intentions behind the I should, or I have to, because even this morning, before I knew I had this recording with Shirley, the podcast, which I'm excited about, but this morning I had the dread. I'm like, oh, I have to do this podcast, right? I felt nervous. And I noticed that pressure that I have to do something. I'm like, dude, I chose to do this. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about the topic. It was my idea. Like, I love Shirley. And so I actually had to remind myself of all these things, because our mind naturally just wants to, the intention is like, you make sure you do the podcast, right? The intention. But the way my mind goes about it is creating dread for me. It's like, you have to do the podcast. No, I don't have to. I could cancel it, right? So I think that's for most of us, right? We want to, because like, for example, if we want to have sex with our husband, it's actually the intention, but the way our mind says, no, you have to, then that kills it, right? So we actually have to kind of be gentle with ourselves and recognize, no, we have really good intentions. Let's kind of clean up this dreadful sentence and then access what we want. Yes. Any thoughts?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think that idea of, it's so interesting, isn't it? How sometimes some of the things that we tell ourselves we have to is actually things that will give us more joy in your life, such as, like, for example, you said that you wanted to, like, you're actually the person who reached out to me and want to do this podcast. Right. So it's like, this will actually help you so much in your life and in your business.
And help maybe it's people, right?
Help your people. Yeah. And maybe it's like having sex with your husband. If you really change your intention, maybe you really do want to be more intimate and feel more connected with them. So there are a lot of things that I think our brain tells us we have to, as a way for us not to access more joy and more pleasure and more like amazing things in our life, because we think this is just how we're supposed to have, right? We're supposed to have some frustration, especially with like a lot of the women I tend to coach with. It's like they're actually meant for bigger things, but then intentionally they go into anxiety and they go into worry and doubt to limit themselves from experiencing greater joy and greater amazingness in their life. So then their brain give them ideas of like, you have to do this, make you feel bad for what you're doing, make you feel like you're obligated into doing this. And actually, when we change the experience of it, you can actually allow in more joy and love and support and meaning and abundance into your life. And subconsciously, if we think we're not allowed to have those things, then we can think some thoughts that limit us from experiencing those emotions, right? Such as like, I don't want to take the kids to school today, but maybe it's like, you know what? I actually want my kids to learn. I love my kids. I want to be there to be the mom I want to be, to actually take them to school, to watch them walk into the classrooms, right? Like there's a certain kind of experience and meaning that you can access, and so much more love and connection you can access for yourself when we let go of the shoulds. But then sometimes notice how it's like, it just comes up as like your first initial reaction is shoulds, have tos, because that's just what we're being trained, right? You're not allowed to feel that much joy in your life. You're not supposed to experience that much love for your kids, because it's bad, if you're feeling this pleasurable. It's bad if you're feeling this much love and this much joy. So then we don't do that. So that's the initial reaction that comes up. It's like, what's the danger here, right? What's the threat? You have to be aware. You have to think about and worry about and like not wanting to take your kids to school, right? Like all of the things. And then I think it's okay, right? It's just like a human condition. It's like a condition that's in a lot of us women, like our brains. And that's okay. We can like notice it and gently see that, it's just the initial reaction. And then you can decide, like give yourself a few moments, right, to really feel into it, because that's human. And then really ask yourself this question, like, if telling myself I should is blocking me from the joy I get to experience more, how do I really want to feel about this situation? Maybe I do want to take my kids to school, right? Maybe I do want to keep working on my business on the side. Maybe I do want to feel amazing about having this podcast interview and feeling connected with another person. Right? So I think like that's also the piece that we can also watch out for. And that's how we can like start to shift our mind into more abundance, more love, and more joy instead of blocking it out.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think every time we are believing something that feels bad, we're believing a lie. So then if you drop that, you're going to feel good. You're going to no longer. And that's exactly what I went through. Like what you were saying with the kids, I really had a block. Like I have to do all these things with the kids. And once I truly realized, okay, I don't have to I could just go to work. I could get someone to take care of them as much as I can. Then once I really, really really realized it, then I was like, no, I want to be the one.
Yeah.
And that really created more joy, more enjoyment, more belonging and peace, and just feeling like I'm in the right place. And just then you become happy. Yeah, then you're willing to do the hard work. Then you're just, you're not in prison. You're like a free woman doing what you want. Yes. Yeah. And that's kind of the whole topic. Let's just summarize it, is that you really don't have to do anything. And as Brooke Castillo, right, Shirley, right, she really, the way she says it, she says, you don't even have to eat or live, which is true, right? We could, like, people take their own lives away, right? And this really, that drives it home for me. You're like, okay, I really don't have to do anything, right? We're not going to take our life, but we really don't have to force ourselves to do anything. So you don't have to do anything. Remember that. And whenever there's a should or a have to, question that. See how it feels. If it feels bad, and you can drop it. If you are having trouble dropping it, then come get coached, either with Shirley or myself or any coach, and say, I don't want to feel bad about this anymore. So any other last thoughts to add to this? Maybe to women who are starting a business and want to start a business, because I know there's even professionals who are just out in the corporate world? Any advice to them regarding this topic?
Yes. Well, I think something that I would also offer is that sometimes the reason why we think we have to follow the rules, I think especially in business as well, is that we think that is like that way is going to help you achieve the result that you want, right? In order for me to have amazing business, I have to follow the strategy, this plan, A, B, C, D. Like I cannot create my own way of how I want to, have my lifestyle, be involved with my family, and also be able to build this amazing business. And so sometimes we think the rule is like the right way to doing things. And I think what something that I can also say to that is it's also really about trusting yourself and almost like believing in the inevitability of the outcome. So like if you know for sure, like let's say right now you are just starting your business and maybe you are in like the first year, the first 1 or 2 years of starting your business, and you're having some doubt about it, you think following this guru's strategy of building sales funnel is like the way to doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe deep within you have another thought of like, okay, there's something else. There's something else that's there, right? But then you don't you're like, I don't know if this is actually the thing. Well, what I will offer is the fact that you have this vision in your mind that you're going to have this amazing and thriving life with your business. The fact that you have this vision in your head, like you're the only one in this entire world who have this specific lifestyle, who have this specific business, who has this specific family, right? No one has your kids, then you're yours. No one has your partner, than you, right? So you're the only one who has this specific life and image that you want to have in 5 years, let's say. So if it's inevitable that for sure you're going to get there, like either way, you can follow this guru strategy and then you can get there. You can follow another guru strategy and you can get, like, doesn't matter how you do it. At the end of the day, you're going to get there regardless because it's inevitable. Your success is inevitable. The path that's carved out forward for you, that life that you want to have for yourself, is inevitable because your desires are important, right? There's a reason why your desires are there. So it's inevitable. Then how do you want to create the in-between? What kind of experience do you want to have on your way there? It could be following this guru strategy, or it can be, listen to what this guru has to say and then take some bits of that and then create a strategy in a way that works for you, right? Either way, you're going to get it regardless. But certain experiences might not feel as good, right? Certain experiences might cause a lot more drama, a lot more suffering. If either way, you're going to get it regardless. And whatever you do is going to be perfect, right? Because you're going to get there at the end of the day. Then what would feel so amazing for you? What would feel so joyful and so aligned for you? And I think that is like a question you can ask yourself to help you move forward in your business.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. No, so everyone, I would highly recommend Shirley for anything business related. Like, she helps me so much with my business. And like I said, my favorite part, I have a couple of favorite parts. Like, she just makes me feel so good, just like as I am, no matter like if I haven't reached my goals yet, right? So you have to feel supported like that, especially with a coach, right? And she always has like this extra next step that I could take to get me out of my misery, and that brings me closer to my business, to you guys, to my clients, or whatever. So I highly recommend Shirley. Definitely go check her out. So you can find her on Instagram at Daring Living, and her podcast. Go check out her podcast for sure. Also Daring Living. And also, if you just can't wait, you should try and sign up for her workshop. So where can they find you? Where can they sign up for the workshop?
The best way right now, I can give you a link just to put it, because the link is a little bit long.
You add to the
But
notes, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but you can also find me on Instagram. That is where I'm the most active. So definitely, if you come find me on Instagram at Daring Living, there will be a link there for you to sign up for the workshop. And the workshop is called The Power of One. So it is all about helping you take back, almost like being able to be the person who can leverage on your personal power and uplift and love and support those around you. So it can be with your relationship with your family, with your loved one, with your clients, with your audience, with your community. You don't need any of them to change. You are the person who takes back the power to cultivate personal power within yourself. And from that place, then you can give so much more. From that place, you can love them and support them from like non-attachment, without needing them to sign up to work with you, without needing them to tell you how much they love you, without needing them to, reach back out to you. You can just be the person who has so much personal power and change the relationships around you. So that's what the workshop is all about. So yes, Thursday, Power of One, and you can message me on Instagram and you can find a link to sign up.
Wait, December 22nd. And what time is it?
It's at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Pacific time. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, she's my fellow Canadian, so we're kind of we're close. Anyway, great. So thank you so much, Shirley. It was great having you on my podcast.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you for having
everyone,
me.
yes, I think everyone will really benefit from the whole topic.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
How do I stop?